starring Becca Sheets, Kaylyn Newell, Carmie, Midnight, Kat, Deanna de Keizjer, Adrian, Vail, and Matthew Ellen. Absurdity Ascents is written by Emerson Arriety and narrated by Bean.
Buzzing from the alarm clock drags Bexs out of her sleep. It is 7:05 and time to start her day. The Colombian woman slips into her slippers and robe and drags her feet up the hallway. She knocks on the door of the spare bedroom.
Demo? I was just wondering, what do you eat? What would you like to eat for breakfast?
I'm capable of converting nearly anything into fuel. I do, however, require 3 times the daily amount of food that an average adult human consumes.
Though she weighs a metric ton, Demo is shorter than even Zoe, and Bexs cannot imagine how she can manage to eat so much. Or how she can manage to eat at all, for that matter, with a speaker instead of a mouth. Bexs quadruples her typical breakfast: 4 bowls of oatmeal, 4 bananas, and 4 glasses of orange juice. The housemates sit across from each other at the breakfast table, and Bexs finds herself staring at Demo's speaker in anticipation of her first bite.
For what purpose are you staring at me?
Bexs sputters and crams some oatmeal into her mouth, trying to play it off.
What are you staring at?
Demo doesn't buy it, staring at her as she swallows her oatmeal.
Alright, I was staring at you. I'm sorry, I was curious how you ate without a mouth.
The front of Demo's speaker slides up to reveal a chute. She brings the bowl to the chute and slams it down like a shot of sake. She places it down gently on the table.
Did that satisfy your curiosity?
Bexs is only able to manage a sheepish nod. Several hours later, and several yards to the right, the group is inside of the interior ruins that were trying to pass themselves off as a home. In the remnants of the kitchen, they study the tear, a 3-dimensional rip straight through thin air. Lydia says to them,
Aidyl isn't dead.
London circles around the tear, looking at it from all sides.
Why do you say that?
The remote answers her.
While my powers are far and great, I am incapable of directly killing someone. Aidyl was likely sent into an alternate timeline.
Demo, are you able to find her?
I am unable to locate someone outside of my current timeline.
What about the time anomaly that was just made? If you can find that, we should find Aidyl.
There are approximately 11 vigintillion anomalous timelines and growing.
Nada voices the perplexity that I'm sure we're all feeling.
Is that even a real number?
10 to the 64th power plus 10 to the 63rd power, or 1.1e plus 64.
Silence seeps into every corner of the room as they try to wrap their heads around just how many anomalies there are. It is only broken when London finally musters up some words.
Find the, closest anomaly to us. That should be the right one, I think.
A different voice comes from Demo.
I'm sorry. The function requested is only able to run once every 24 hours. If you would like to use this function now, upgrade to the full version today for only $20 billion.
Aside from being unsettling and annoying, the advertisement brings Demo's limitation to the forefront.
So is that it? We can't go to the anomaly until tomorrow?
You heard us say there were more anomalies than a number any of us have ever heard of!
Dallas stares into the anomalous void, the weight of what it represents dawning on her.
I can't believe y'all did this much damage to the universe.
Whoa. We're not blaming all this on me. I created one anomaly. One. You heard Zoe. She said her powers weren't working right or whatever. These anomalies were already here.
Bexs turns to Zoe.
Do you need Demo to get an anomaly? Since there's so many of them, couldn't you wind up in one without even trying?
Probably.
Destroying the anomalies one by one is inefficient.
It wouldn't necessarily be one by one. The anomalies are being created by other anomalies, and so if you were to destroy the parent anomaly, the children wouldn't have a point of origin and would likely die before retconning.
So we just have to hit the one smack dab in the middle, and we'll get them all.
You'll definitely get the outer ones and stop anomalous reproduction, but some of the bigger ones will be able to retcon.
What is this retconning you keep mentioning?
When something becomes impossible due to alterations to a parent timeline, in order to make logical sense and to exist, history changes in such a way to become consistent with itself.
I, for one, am completely lost.
How did you ever make field agent?
This earns her a glare, to which London responds with a smile.
Whether or not you understand what Zoe is talking about, we need to destroy that anomaly before it destroys our timeline.
We'll take 2 shots at destroying it. We'll jump to a random anomaly and hope we hit it. If we miss, Demo will just point us the right way the next day.
It's a newer anomaly. The odds of you destroying it are higher than destroying older anomalies, although not sufficiently.
So what? 2 chances are better than 1.
We can't just destroy random anomalies. We'll need permission from the Universal Council.
We also just can't leave a clear danger to the universe lying around. Somewhere, someone's timeline has an anomaly in it.
I suppose you're right. We'll also have more to report after we've seen an anomaly close up.
The women gather around Lydia, who uses the remote to encompass them in a cyan sphere of energy. Zoe closes her eyes and transports them to an anomaly that is seriously blue and riddled with holes of pure nothingness. Lydia presses a button to remove the sphere as Zoe drinks a Pepsi. Nada spots a shooting star streaking across the sky. It shimmers and returns to its original position again and again.
Hurry up and destroy this place. It gives me the creeps.
Don't be so hasty. We need to see what this anomaly is and collect data for the next anomaly we go to.
Next, and hopefully last.
The origin point of anomaly ZAWX9841 Iota 72 is 1 mile north from here. Follow me, I'll take you to it.
They trek across the eerie and desolate landscape. Some 15 minutes in, Lydia asks,
I've been meaning to ask, why are you talking like that?
It's how I'm programmed to sound.
No, when I first met you, you sounded emotive, unrobotic.
Your concern has been recognized. This is a defense mechanism against emotions. My human half is hiding within the gynoid processor.
Dallas closes her eyes, filling herself with Demo's emotion. She is amongst strangers in a strange land, trapped inside a surreal nightmare that she can't wake up from.
Not hiding very well. Her feelings are still there.
Then they're not being suppressed well enough.
I'm sorry. The function requested is only able to run once every 24 hours. If you would like to use this function now, upgrade to the full version today for only $20 billion.
Nada looks sideways at Demo.
Do you do that a lot?
If you upgrade, you will never be prompted to again.
Only 20 billion to shut you up, huh?
How long does this mechanism usually last?
Insufficient data.
Demo stops walking, and everyone falls in line behind her.
We are here.
A small hill with patches of orange and a hole at the top is all that there is within miles. Bexs says,
What exactly do we do here?
Dallas and I will collect data, then Lydia will destroy it.
Here's your data, a whole lot of blue, massive holes of pure nothingness, and of course, the repeating shooting star. May all of your wishes come true.
She's right. There ain't nothing here.
But why did we come here then?
There does not appear to be any purpose to our being here.
So we can destroy it now, right?
I suppose.
As Zoe works her way through an entire can of Pepsi, Lydia changes the batteries of the remote.
How does this work?
I power up Zoe until the batteries run out, and then she implodes the timeline.
Then we'll have a bit of time to leave, or we'll get erased for the place.
How much time?
That depends on the size of the anomaly. This one's desolate and bland, so I'd say about 2 minutes.
Wow.
Don't worry, Lydia will change the batteries before I blow the place.
Lydia positions herself a few feet away from Zoe.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Lydia presses a button on the remote, and a bright cyan ray hits Zoe. She glows progressively brighter, until the others have to shield their eyes. When the beam cuts off, Lydia replaces the batteries of the remote. A yellow rabbit pokes its head out of the hill and sniffs the air, and catches Bex's attention.
Zoe, wait!
A burst of energy erupts from Zoe, and Bexs shields her eyes. The light scares the rabbit back into the hill. The sky splits above them, and Bexs runs towards the hill.
Oi! What are you doing?
London runs after Bexs as the ground rumbles beneath them. Bexs ascends the hill and tosses herself forward, so her hand lands inside the hole. London pulls her down the hill.
We have to leave!
Cracks from the wind whipping fill the air, and chunks of the sky fall towards the ground.
You didn't tell me there was life here.
It's just an anomaly!
Bexs breaks free of London and flops onto the hole again. London pulls her off, but this time, she is clutching the yellow rabbit. The pair scramble down the crumbling hill and race towards the others. Lydia mashes buttons, and a purple sphere encompasses them and most of the world. Zoe closes her eyes, transporting them to the remains of Lydia's kitchen. Bexs looks at the rabbit in her hand, which disappears. Bexs shrieks.
What happened to the rabbit?
I don't care about the bloody rabbit! What the hell was that? You could be dead right now. We all could.
I didn't know there was life there.
That doesn't mean you can risk our lives for a damn rabbit.
Nada sneers.
You suddenly care about our lives now, do you?
Oh, don't you start with me. These are two very different situations. I seem to remember you being very impatient to blow the place up.
I thought it was empty.
So did I.
It ain't actually being destroyed. It's being unmade. It not only doesn't exist now, it never existed ever.
Bexs sits against the wall, knees to her chin and hands on her head.
Then why do I remember it? Why do I remember the rabbit that I held?
Zoe offers her an explanation.
That's more of a memory thing than a temporal thing.
We destroyed a world with so many creatures.
It was 23 worlds, and we only know for certain that there was one yellow rabbit.
Shut up, Demo!
What's done is done, and there's no use beating ourselves up over it. Perhaps it was wrong, perhaps it was right.
It wasn't wrong.
And you know this because you've been following instructions from a bloody tattoo.
They're instructions from the Universal Council.
You've never even been there.
Know what they're doing, London. I trust them completely.
Blind faith will lead you places you wouldn't go with your eyes open.
Watch how you're talking about the Universal Council. They've been running things since the beginning of time.
I know, but...
But nothing.
But we destroyed 23 worlds.
Anomalies.
Do you even know what a time anomaly does?
After it becomes clear that she can't explain it, the remote steps in.
Time anomalies are just timelines with inconsistent histories that, in an effort to fix themselves, create new increasingly inconsistent timelines, many of which are not viable.
And why is that a bad thing?
These anomalies tear holes in the space-time continuum, negatively affecting reality.
And how do you know it's affecting reality negatively?
They reek of inconsistencies, and when they affect healthy timelines, they affect the flow of time and make those timelines inconsistent.
So, can't they just retcon?
No, they can't. That's not the only problem either. Timelines and time anomalies all exist in time-space, and time-space only has a limited amount of room, so at the rate that these time anomalies are growing at,
Time-space will run out of room.
What will happen then?
we don't know, and we don't want to find out.
There is a cold silence over the remains of the room, which is eventually broken by Lydia.
So where do we go from here?
We didn't even fix the time, right?
Why don't we go to another anomaly and collect some data?
We can't just destroy another timeline.
We're not going to destroy it this time. We're just going to collect data.
Okay.
They take a moment apart, around an hour, before gathering again to go to a new anomaly. The sidewalks are paved in purple bricks, but outside of that, the city looks rather unremarkably ordinary.
This place is certainly much bigger than the last one.
Doesn't appear to have any holes in it either. It looks perfectly normal.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is an entire anomaly we're talking about. It's bound to be broken in ways you can't see.
Or maybe it's not even broken.
That possibility exists also, and that is what we are here to find out. Bexs, Zoe, Nada, and I will go this way. You guys go that way. We'll meet back here in, say, 3 hours.
With no real reason to disagree, the group goes their separate ways. Lydia, Demo, and Dallas go into a bar at, yes, you guessed it, Lydia's suggestion.
What is it with you and bars?
Bars are a great place to get information.
The three take a seat at the bar, and Lydia holds up 5 fingers to the bartender.
Besides, I want to show Demo a better way to deal with her emotional problems.
The bartender fills out 5 mugs.
This isn't stupidly expensive, is it?
$2.99 a mug.
Good.
Lydia hands one to Demo.
Beer.
Instead of hiding in programming, we hide in alcohol.
Is that really healthy?
Sure it is.
Lydia hands one to Dallas and takes the others for herself. Dallas raises an eyebrow at Lydia, but doesn't say anything. Demo drains her beer quickly.
Feel better?
Yes, thanks. I hate going into that mode. It's like being in the passenger seat of my own body.
Demo takes a look around the bar and says quietly to Lydia and Dallas,
No one seems to be taking exception to my appearance.
Lydia also takes a look around, and sure enough, no one is noticing Demo in the slightest. She asks the bartender,
What's today's date?
It's Monday, April 9th.
Lydia jerks a thumb at Demo.
Do you recognize her?
I thought that she looked like someone, but I thought that it couldn't be possible. I mean, I don't know how she could be alive right now.
Just say it. You might be surprised by the answer.
The bartender hesitates for a moment before answering.
She looks exactly like the trillion-year-old baby.
No offense, but this bar is an ancient relic. How can you possibly recognize me?
I pay attention to futurology, that's how. I think it's so cool that a woman and machine could have a child together, and I'm just honored that that baby is right here before me.
The bartender refills Demo's mug with beer.
That one's on the house. Are all of you from 5,000 years in the future? Do you guys have a time machine somewhere? But the first time machine wasn't made until 100 years before you were born.
I think you meant after.
Oh, why would I mean after?
Because if it were made before she was born, how could she not use it?
You guys really just aren't making much sense right now.
I thought you might say that. It would appear we are heading towards yesterday. Did you rise from the grave?
I rose from ashes. I will be cremated over the Pacific Ocean. I really like that place, it seems.
Even though time is going backwards, I don't understand why I can't use a time machine invented before I was born.
If ancient there, I wouldn't know what to tell you, but the time machine was only available for 5 years until its invention.
I'm more confused than usual. Thank you very much. But I think we can all agree this proves my point. Let's meet back up with the others.
Does her mostly finished beer on the bar table.
Thanks for the drink.
See you earlier.
Dallas leads the others out of the bar. Lydia pauses briefly and quickly finishes Dallas's beer before hurrying up to catch up with them.
I think you may have a problem.
I paid good money for that beer.
While Lydia tries to defend what is clearly a problem, the other 4 are in a park, walking up the pathway.
Look at all these children, not a care in the world, completely unaware that an organization wants to destroy their entire universe.
This place is a lot less creepy than the other anomaly. It looks pretty normal.
Not 2 seconds later, a little girl slides down a slide, falls through the bottom, and rolls to her feet.
I take it back. That was creepy as hell.
The little girl gets up and goes back up the slide, seemingly unconcerned by what just happened.
And she's not even bothered.
Okay, so little girls fall through slides here. Doesn't mean this place deserves to be destroyed.
What about that?
Zoe points out a rain cloud that is raining in reverse. Bexs crosses her arms.
Trivial. All these things are trivial.
They aren't trivial. An anomalous timeline is one inconsistent with reality, and these things prove that.
Well, what is reality anyway? And how does this prove that?
That is a great question. Before we can say what isn't reality, we must say what is.
A dogged grin appears on London's face, and she paces around in circles.
For ages, many minds, myself included, have pondered this very question. But we are the lucky few who may actually be able to find a definitive answer.
One question at a time. What is the nature of reality? I think it's all that is real.
But what is real? Little girls falling through slides would be considered unrealistic. But it undeniably happened here in real life.
Is this real life?
Nada stares at London with a faux serious expression, and London sucks her teeth.
I think we can all agree that this is real life. I also think we should consider the definition for reality. Anything which can be or has been experienced and is experienceable.
I disagree. I think reality works in a certain way. Rain falls down, and slides are always solid.
You're only naming things you're familiar with. Take yourself, for example. You can manipulate time. I would hardly consider you to be realistic in a common definition of reality.
Zoe thinks for a moment, opens her mouth, and then closes it.
Here's another thing to think about. Assuming one reality deserves preference over another, why is it our reality that is given such a preference?
Shit, man! Why'd you have to go and say something like that?
I'm only trying to explore every possible option.
Our reality does have a massive tear in it.
Do you even hear yourselves? You're talking about your home. You exist within that timeline, and if it were to be destroyed, you'd cease to exist. Not just from the point it was destroyed either. You will have been destroyed from the past, and your entire existence will be rendered pointless.
In the grand scheme of things, our lives are pretty pointless anyway.
No, it isn't. How could you even say such a thing? We matter. Our lives matter.
You matter within your own lifespan, and perhaps some time after that. But there's only so many names enshrined in history books, and very few of them have had lasting impressions or accurate accounts of their lives.
I'll prove it to you. The life has meaning. You said it yourself that we were the lucky few who could find the answers to every question ever asked.
I'm very open-minded, Bexs. You can search all you want, and maybe I'll agree with you. But some questions simply have no answer. And sometimes the answer even is nothing.
Back at the crossroads, everyone reconvenes and is ready to give their opinion on the anomaly.
This place is definitely anomalous. Time is moving backwards.
Is it? How can you tell?
We talked to the bartender and he recognized Demo.
He also mentioned there was once a time machine invented 100 years before I was born, but somehow that meant I couldn't use it.
That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly! Not even if time was going backwards.
There were also children falling through slides.
Sure, these things are different from our reality, but why is that necessarily bad?
Because it's inconsistent with reality. Reality doesn't work this way, thus making this an anomaly.
You just sound like you want to blow this place up. You're forgetting the real reason we're here, and that's to save our reality. How do we know this place is doing anything to our reality?
It's what an anomaly does, Bex.
And how do you know that?
How would you know anything? I've been doing this before you could even walk.
All of this seems to confuse you a lot for someone who's been doing this since before I could walk.
Dallas growls.
Well.
Well? Ain't smart enough to come up with nothing?
That's enough!
London looks first at Dallas.
We're not blowing this place up. Demo wouldn't even be able to find the right spot if we were.
Then, she slowly turns toward Bexs and looks steadily at her.
And only I'm allowed to call my sister a twat.
Sorry.
Now then, since we are not destroying this place, it is time for us to go.
They return to the ruination that is Lydia's kitchen, sometime around 10 at night.
I still feel like we should be doing something about this before going to the Universal Council.
Not really much we can do outside of blowing up random anomalies.
Universal Council will know what to do.
Maybe we can't do anything about it. Two of the most powerful devices in the universe were having a fight, and it created that rip.
That was an accident, though. It can't be but so hard to remove.
Some accidents can never be undone. I cannot remove this temporal anomaly on my own. But after having left this timeline, I am now aware of the exact nature of this anomaly. It is the places that we've been, and the only way to destroy it completely would be to destroy their point of origin. And that point of origin is right here, in this kitchen, in this timeline.
But if the origin is in this timeline, how are we supposed to destroy it?
That is quite the question, isn't it?
I have an idea. Recently, I could change time concretely. Since there's a temporal anomaly, maybe I can do it again.
If your powers aren't working as they should, perhaps it's not the best idea to be using them.
Better to try something other than destroying our timeline, right?
You could just make things worse. Besides, how do we know that the remote is even right? There were already anomalies before Lydia and Aidyl fought.
Even if there are other anomalies, it is undeniable that this is the origin of several of them.
Fair enough, but perhaps we're too concerned with fixing reality when we aren't even sure if it's broken.
Reality is definitely broken, London.
You say that because you're used to experiencing reality one way. You have experienced reality in a different way today. How is our reality as it was before the way that reality truly works?
Because it is?
Reality is what you make it to be, Lydia. Time moves in the direction you tell it to. Gravity falls the way you choose it to. If you want reality to go back to the way it was before, then that is the way that it needs to be.
I thought you said you couldn't fix this.
I can. As it stands now, there's not much we can do except destroy anomalies to keep the tear from getting larger.
That's horrible and selfish.
It is what it is. We will only be able to destroy one a day, which I fear will not be enough to hold it at bay. Tomorrow we must make a trip to the Universal Council for a more permanent solution. For now, you should all get some rest. It's been a long day.
The women bid each other farewell and make their way home. In the streets, London is lagging behind her sister.
I can't believe you still have all this energy. I'm spent from all this temporal travel. And walking. God, I need a new car.
Dallas spins and backpedals.
I'm spent too, but I'm too excited. This has been the best few days of my entire life. After 26 long years, I am finally going to meet the Universal Council.
I've got loads of questions for them. My most pressing being, how did my twat of a sister ever make field agent?
Rude. You're so mean, London.
London slogs over to Dallas, drops her head on her shoulder, and smiles at her.
Yeah, but you love me.
Dallas looks away from her, and London pokes her. Dallas continues to avoid looking at her, so London wraps her arms around Dallas's neck and hops onto her back.
Ah! London!
London closes her eyes and buries her head in Dallas's hair.
It's not that much farther. And I'd be asleep right now if we still had a car.
As the twins make their way home, Zoe is sitting in front of the fireplace, watching a piece of paper burn. Nada comes from the bathroom into the living room.
Zoe?
Hi, Nada.
Are you burning something?
I got cold.
In the summer.
Yes?
Why are you always lying to me? Why did you never tell me about your powers?
Zoe simply shrugs.
I don't know.
I always thought we were close. I thought we were the type of sisters who could tell each other anything. I'm letting you stay in my home for the entire summer.
Nada, I don't want you doing all this. I don't want you getting hurt.
Dude, I'm going to be fine. Quit worrying about me. But seriously, I want you to be more honest with me. No more casually lying, alright?
Alright.
Great. So what are you burning?
Just a note.
Nada urges her sister to continue.
It's just a note.
Good night, Zoe.
Nada heads back across the hall, and Zoe looks after her. She sighs and lies down on the couch. Back in the suburbs of Atlanta, Bexs is curled up with her dog in front of the TV. Sometime later, her housemate comes down the steps, and she looks behind her.
Sorry, did I wake you up?
No, I couldn't sleep. The floor is not a comfortable place to sleep.
Before you were saying it was okay, and I'll order a bed.
Demo slides onto the couch and pets Sienna's head.
You're fine. My robotic half can be remarkably stupid sometimes.
Demo looks at the TV.
Oh my god, is this a B-movie?
Huh?
Those effects are so terrible!
These effects are beautiful. They're really realistic.
Demo shakes her head.
That explosion is so obviously edited in! The screen is flat, the picture is grainy, and why is yellow being used?
Bexs looks at Demo strangely, but the half-gynoid continues laughing.
I can't take this movie seriously, I'm sorry.
The movie is only a year old.
Right. This is 12,016, a time renowned for shitty movies. Do you guys take this movie seriously here?
Mm-hmm. It won 7 Oscars.
Wow! Let me guess. It won the Oscar for Best Special Effects.
Yes.
Demo laughs again, and Bexs keeps looking at Demo, and her housemate's laughter brings a smile to her face. Next door, Lydia is standing in the living room, staring at the ruins trying to pass themselves off as her home.
Look at this place.
Lydia's eyes land on the tear in the next room.
My reign as Keeper of Reality has been fantastic thus far.
Lydia holds the remote up to her face.
Look at what I've done in a few short days. I've nearly destroyed an entire dimension. I got someone displaced from their own time. I tore a hole in reality, and I destroyed an entire timeline.
Rome wasn't built in a day. You've never read the manual, and you still managed to accomplish a lot.
A lot of destruction. The last thing that London knows is how to get us to the Universal Council. What happens after that? All I know is how to destroy things.
Find the manual, of course. Wherever it is. It should be with Aidyl.
I never should have released her from the mirror in the first place.
Don't dwell on the past. Only think to the future. If you make a mistake, apologize and move to fix it. You'll live to regret many things, Lydia. The key is not to die too.
The 4th episode comes to a close. We do hope that you enjoyed it. The next episode is Sarah's Castle. Don't miss it. Additional voices provided by Rory Reed and Emerson Arriety.